144, Kahala Yahweh Shem Yahshai. Shalom, 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 shalom. I want to give all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rakah Kwadash. Double honors to the elders and apostles of Great Millstone who teach and rule well. Peace and salutation to the hopeful elect scattered abroad. That's how he doing this work in truth and sincerity. I'm Brother Bach from Brother the Bach coming at you with a quick sit down. You know, Lord willing, this class is edifying. Today I wanted to go into these Christians. You know, they act like that the Lord will forgive you for everything you do. You know, for every sin that you commit, and even though that's kind of true, you're not supposed to be willingly sinning, bro. You know, you don't just I know this wrong, but I'm gonna do it anyway because the Lord gonna forgive me. The Lord don't have to forgive you for shit, man. You know, but the Lord is having mercy on His elect, man. This is Romans chapter 6, verse 1 in the NLT. It says, "Well then, should we keep on sinning so that Yahweh can show us more and more of His wonderful grace? Of course not. Since we have died to sin, how can we continue to live in it?" Right, man. You know, you don't just be out here willingly sinning, man. You know, even though, you know, the Lord, if you own up to it, you know, the Lord will forgive you, man. But you don't just go out and keep making the same mistake, you know. Were you really even sorry for it? Or do you even care, you know? Because the Lord will hold you accountable for that shit, man. You know? This is skip down to verse 15. It says, What then shall we sin because we are not under the law, but under grace? Yahweh forbid, you know. Just because, you know, the Lord has grace on us, man, you know, doesn't mean that gives you the right to just be a nigga, man. You know, you want to try to offend less, man. You want to offend the Lord as less as you can, you know. Because what, man? We know what is sin? The wages of death, man. You know, and the Lord could have took us out, man, before we even came into this truth, man. And how about more so now, man? We still go off in the truth. You know, we're not saying we're perfect, but we know right from wrong, you know, and we can control what we can control. You know, though we in this flesh, you know, we still have to ask the Lord Yahweh Shem Yahshai for forgiveness, man, because we go off. You know? I'm gonna grab this in the NLT. This is Galatians chapter 5 and verse 13 in the NLT. It says, "For you have been called to live in freedom, my brothers and sisters, but do not use your freedom to satisfy your sinful nature." Right, man. You know, just because you know we're under the grace period right now, man, that doesn't what it says. That doesn't give you the freedom to lust after the flesh, man. It says instead use your freedom to serve one another in love, your brother, man. You know, while we in this grace period, man, we going to war. You know, we going to war right now, man. We got our brothers in the trenches with us every single day, man. They love us, you know. So that's what we should be using this freedom for right now, man. You know, while we in these trenches with our brothers, man. You know. I'm gonna go to the book of 1 Peter. 1 Peter chapter 2 and in verse 16. it says as free and not using your liberty for a cloak of maliciousness. I know I said that wrong. Salakia. Maliciousness. There it is. The water. It says, I'm going to bring it back. It says, 1 Peter chapter 2 and verse 16. It says, as free and not using your liberty for a cloak of maliciousness, but as the servants of Yahweh Bashim Yahushai, man. You know, and that's our liberty, man. To be servants of the Lord Yahweh Bashim Yahushai, man. You know, that's what we supposed to be doing first and foremost, man. Serving the Lord. In truth and sincerity, bro. You know. We go to the book of 2 Corinthians, chapter 5. It's 2 Corinthians chapter 5 and verse 17. It says, therefore, if any man be in Hamashiach, he is a new creature. Old things are passed away. Behold, all things are become new. Right, man? You know, when you came into this truth, man, you let off that old man, you know. Not willfully sinning, man. You know, not being the same dumbass over and over again, you know, trying to commit adultery, you know, just because you see a beautiful woman and you know she has a man, but you think you should take it upon as a challenge and still do it anyway. Nah, man, we let that shit go, man. You know, we let it go. Not saying brothers don't mess up, man, because like I say, bro, we in this flesh, man. But we striving to be the best us we can be, man. You know, with the Lord's help. You know, and when you fall short, you know, you ask for forgiveness, man. You should always be asking for forgiveness, bro. That's the key. The Lord knows everything, man. The Lord knows you're gonna mess up before you even mess up, man. But it's up to you as a man to ask for forgiveness, man. You know, that's a part of being a man. You know, admitting your faults, man. You know how these women are, bro. Women don't like to apologize. Women don't like to be wrong. And when they wrong, they give you a half-ass apology, man. Or they do something that shows that they're apologetic, man. They can't even admit to it, man. This is Ephesians chapter 4 and verse 22. It says that ye put off concerning the former conversation that old man which is corrupt according to deceitful lust. You know those conversations you would have with a homeboy about a woman that ain't yours, that's somebody else's. You know, those type of conversations, man, that we had as niggas. Y'all brothers know what I'm talking about, man, when you was in the world, you know, just thinking you don't care about a woman having a man, you know, and such, you know what? Trying to fulfill that lust, man, you know, but what? We put that shit off, man. You know, it's time, man. We in Jacob's trouble already, man. What conversations need to be having now, man? You know, getting your mind ready for those troops to come kicking in your damn door, man. You know, time to get right, bro. But I mean, that's pretty much all on this lesson. You know, I pray that this was edifying unto the hopeful elect. Until next video, Shalom.